Nearly 2 decades ago, the Marine Corps unveiled the groundbreaking concepts Operational Maneuver from the Sea and Ship-to-Objective Maneuver. During the intervening years, our Corps has strived to field the capabilities necessary to realize the full potential of these concepts.
Operational Maneuver from the Sea and Ship-to-Objective Maneuver are very valid concepts. We are executing them today. They're over 20 years old, but we're continuing to refine them to be able to actually execute them better.
Today, these concepts are evolving to address future anti-access, area denial threats, and that evolution is being guided by Expeditionary Force 21, our 10-year roadmap for force development.
I think Expeditionary Force 21 and the MEB Ops are a very contemporary concept for the way the Marine Corps needs to operate today.
A major component of this evolution requires replacing our aging fleet of amphibious assault vehicles. This is the Marine Corps' highest ground modernization priority.
As we assimilate the ACV into our family of vehicles with the AAV, it'll be a complementary system with the AAV. What that does to the commander on the ground, and it gives you options, okay? It gives you flexibility to accomplish the mission.
The decision to pursue a wheeled amphibious combat vehicle and achieve high water speed in the near term by a significantly increased focus on connectors is vitally important for the future of our Corps.
Right now, with the challenges we face, from anti-access to area denial, distances we have to travel, what we have to do once we get ashore, one vehicle system just isn't going to do it.
After World War II, the Marine Corps pursued the development of the helicopter as a tactical means to avoid fixed defenses. But we soon recognized that vertical maneuver capabilities alone would not fully replace surface maneuver. Since then, the naval services have sought to develop complementary means of conducting vertical and surface littoral maneuver from increased distances and by multiple penetration points, using the sea as maneuver space to offset the range and precision of modern weapons. Our history of innovation for the conduct of amphibious operations has driven the desire for better and faster means of getting from ship to shore. Since the late 1970s, the Marine Corps has pursued a high water speed replacement for the AAV. However, the size, complexity, and high cost of the vehicle have caused it to fall short each time. The Expeditionary Fighting Vehicle got the farthest along, but it was canceled in 2011, again due to unacceptable trade-offs. After the EFV program was canceled, a working group was established to examine future amphibious operations. They found that adversaries' A2AD capability will increase the need for high-speed, low-signature littoral maneuver from increased ranges at least until the adversary's A2AD network is reduced. As this group reported out, another study group started to look at the technical feasibility of a high-water speed amphibious assault vehicle. They found it was technically feasible, but again the trade-offs in protection, performance, and cost were too high. In 2008, the Marine Corps began the development of the Marine Personnel Carrier to be a complementary capability to the AAV, and ultimately the EFV. It was designed and developed specifically to operate ashore with better armored protection, mobility equal to the M1A1, and the ability to swim from shore to shore for river crossing operations. However, in 2012, the MPC program was suspended due to the increasingly constrained fiscal environment and in favor of acquiring the Joint Light Tactical Vehicle and a vehicle to replace the AAV. After the cancellation of EFV, the Marine Personnel Carrier program was reviewed and ultimately redesignated as the ACV program after assessing its swim and mobility capabilities. Because commercial industry is heavily reliant on wheeled versus tracked vehicles, wheeled vehicles have substantially closed the maneuverability gap that previously existed between the two vehicles.
Well, one of the concerns that people have had with regards to wheeled versus tracked is that tracked tends to be better in mud, deep sand, snow and ice, and that kind of thing. With this new wheeled technology that's demonstrated on the ACV, the ability to get through that type of terrain is just as good and maybe in some cases better because of higher ground clearance.
The bottom line is industry has made considerable advances in technology to overcome these concerns. One example is advanced Generation 8-wheeled armored personnel carriers that use inline drive technology, which enables all four wheels on each side to pull together in much the same way a tracked vehicle maneuvers around and over obstacles. Wheeled vehicles' higher ground clearance and central tire inflation system, currently in use in the Medium Tactical Vehicle Replacement, MTVR, have equal or better maneuverability than the M1A1 and are much more maneuverable than the AAV.
This vehicle is designed to have wheels blown off and keep going. They did a demonstration. The requirement was to be able to drive 5 miles out of the kill zone once they had a wheel blown off. Well, they drove 100 miles and figured, okay, I guess we've proved our point, and called off the test at that point because it just kept going.
As a bridge to the ACV, which could be introduced into the operating forces as early as the fourth quarter of FY19, the decision has been made to sustain and upgrade about a third of the AAV fleet. This program will start in FY19. Some aspects, such as electrical and communication system upgrades, are already being addressed. The AAV upgrade program will improve the force protection of the personnel carrier variant of the AAV, specifically its underbelly protection against explosive threats.
The amphibious combat vehicle, of course, is one of the replacements for the aging AAV that we have. The AAV's been around for over 40 years, and we've had over 10 battalions worth of lift from the AAV. We're going to continue to maintain about 392 of the AAVs to go ahead and modernize those, and so we can keep an amphibious assault capability. But we still need armored protection and mobility on the battlefield, and that's what the ACV is going to bring to our Marines today.
The ACV provides Marines MRAP-like protection against armor-piercing direct fire threats up to heavy machine guns, indirect high-explosive fragmentation, landmines, and improvised explosive devices. With regard to lethality, the ACV will be equipped with a stabilized M2 heavy machine gun in a remote weapon system, with the potential to accommodate a dual-mount stabilized Mark 19 and M2. This will permit the ACV to engage threats on water or land with accurate fires, while on the move with the gunner remaining under armored protection inside the vehicle. The ACV carries 3 crewmen, driver, gunner, and vehicle commander, and between 10 and 13 combat-loaded infantrymen with up to 2 days of supply. 2 ACVs will provide transport for a reinforced rifle squad and will provide the squad leader with an additional maneuver element.
What the ACV does for us, it gives us that maneuverability that we're looking for. Certainly there are times when we have to walk, and we understand that. But when we hit the shore, in an amphibious assault raid, however we want to go ashore, when we hit the shore, we have to have the opportunity through some mobility to get to the objective. It's just further inshore. With the tank-like speed that we have now, and with the protection as we're going there. So these ACVs now that I'm seeing coming off the market can take a squad reinforced 10 to 13. Okay, they have the protection of an MRAP, and they can get us there very quick. And they can also provide the weapon systems once they get there to provide those supporting fires for our infantry as they assault through the objective. That's the kind of mobility we're looking for.
As its name implies, the ACV is amphibious. Recent demonstrations have shown the potential for 12 nautical mile ship-to-shore capability with an 8 nautical mile per hour water speed. However, this will need to be tested. The acquisition approach for ACV 1.1 will be streamlined by pursuing slightly modified vehicles that are already in production and fielded by other militaries. Although the majority of the vehicle design will be non-developmental, some minor modifications will be necessary to meet specific Marine Corps requirements. This strategy will capitalize on the latest standards in communications, weapon systems, and sensors, and provides integration of new technologies over time.
1.2 is going to essentially be going back to the Marines that are using the vehicle 1.1, okay, what needs to change? What needs to be better about this vehicle?
High water speed capability is still very much a requirement. The Marine Corps will continue the research and development to pursue technology that may enable this capability without unacceptable trade-offs.
You can't get into this conversation without the totality of the discussion of the requirement to be able to stand off away from A2AD threats, the vulnerability in the transit phase, the speed of rapid buildup ashore during one period of darkness, and all those factors, when you add them up, validate the requirement from getting from ship to shore as fast as you can.
ACV 2.0 serves as a conceptual placeholder until approximately 2025, at which time a decision will be made to pursue high water speed as an independent amphibious vehicle and/or as a connector-based capability. ACV 2.0 will provide replacement capacity for the 4 infantry battalion lift equivalents provided by the survivability upgraded AAV. ACV 2.0 could support the fielding of a high water speed capable ACV, or could be an extension of ACV 1.2 procurement. Coupled with the decision to pursue a wheeled vehicle, the decision was made to achieve high water speed in the near term by a significantly increased focus on connectors. Connectors will get the ACV as close to shore as the threat will allow and achieve it much faster than tracked vehicles would be able to do swimming on their own. This means reliance on LCAC's capability of carrying 2 ACVs at 40 knots, and on the joint high-speed vessel, in which options are being explored for ramp enhancements to support at-sea launch of AAVs and ACVs. Since neither the LCAC nor the joint high-speed vessel can land vehicles directly ashore in a non-permissive environment, the intent is to conduct an in-stream launch of AAVs and ACVs by quickly maneuvering from beyond and within the gaps of the threat envelope to within 12 miles. Additionally, a concept is being considered to use heavy lift barge carriers already in the strategic sea lift inventory as LCAC motherships that would enable additional LCACs to be positioned and maintained in the area of operations without taking up amphibious ship well-deck spots and mobile landing platform landing spots. Aside from the LCAC replacement program, which will result in an initial operating capability in fiscal year 2020, a replacement program for the venerable LCU is also underway. Littoral operations require a diverse array of complementary capabilities that enable amphibious forces to maneuver along coastlines, in interior waterways, and ashore.
We've got a lot of capabilities out there today that exist within, not only within the amphibious fleet, but also in the MPS fleet. And also there's other capabilities that exist in some of the ROS fleet that's out there. What we need to do is try to take a look at all those capabilities, how do they come together and be integrated to be able to give us the leap ahead that we need for the future.
The need to modernize and upgrade our service-defining capability of transitioning from ship to shore and conducting forcible entry and surface assault is unquestioned. As an element of sea power, the Marine Corps continues to develop a combination of connectors, landing craft, amphibious vehicles, boats and ships that project power ashore.
You know, I don't think either Expeditionary Force 21 or the MEBCON Ops is a radical shift. I think what you've seen over time is a gradual, like a conceptual shift in the mindset of how we apply Marine force in the new operational environment. I think it's the tenets and the concepts that are laid out there have been gripped by the operating forces in pieces, and this concept puts them all together in a very logical and sensical manner.
In the near term, the Marine Corps must field an affordable ACV that provides superior protected mobility and survivability for our infantry throughout varied terrain mixes in the littorals and ashore.
This is around downrange. ACV's coming. Okay, it's here. So the debate's over. You know, so we just got to spread the word to everybody out there that we're done debating. Now you got to embrace the product.
The ACV does not represent the immediate replacement of the AAV, but rather is specifically designed to fill current capability gaps while supporting combat-loaded Marines as they close with and destroy the enemy, rapidly respond to crises, and conduct security and stability operations.